have like printed out too.
Awesome. Okay, so what kind of questions do you have?
I just have like just the questions like this one. I was kind of confused on how to do that.
Sure. Yeah, let's talk about some of those. All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you. And there we go. Okay. So we'll scroll down to this page. Okay, so you watched the first couple. Let me make sure that. Okay, so maybe that'll. Last time I recorded something, the first 5 minutes, the video didn't work at all. So it works. All right. So anyway, so did you get the first two done along with me in the video?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you get anything else done?
Not really. I was like because I had to work on other things. So.
Okay.
I gotta go back to it.
Okay. Well, so let's finish number one. And then that'll get you moving on the right track. And then I think we should also talk about the problems in number 4 because those are kind of tricky. All right. And then I think if we do 1 and 4 together, then you can probably do 2 and 3 on your own. You can try it, and you know how it works. If you're having trouble with it or you don't know what to do, you can always email me, send me a screenshot, and just say like, I'm not getting the right answer for these. Okay, or maybe you get down and your message isn't making sense, or it doesn't answer the question. What the girl bumper car. So,
I'm sorry, what was that?
That's a riddle, right? What did the boy bumper car say to the girl bumper car?
Oh, God.
And the message that you're filling in at the bottom is supposed to answer that question with a joke answer. So, so if you get finished and your message down here doesn't make sense, then you can either try and figure out where you went wrong on your own, or you can ask me for some help. Okay. All right. So let's talk about number 1. So we already determined in the video that the mean was, what do we say, 16? Yeah. And the median was 16.5. Okay. So this is how I like to do it. We circle those because we're only going to use them once. So this was E. This was B. Okay. So let's talk about the mode of the canoe lengths. What is the mode? What does that mean?
It's like, no mode is. It's like, it's a number. No.
It's the number, right?
Okay, hold on.
Look at your definitions again. That's why this.
It's the value that occurs most frequently. Let's say that right.
Right, frequently. So that means the number that's there the most. So let's look at these 8 numbers. Which number occurs the most times?
16.
How many 16s do you see in there?
Oh no, never mind. Sorry, I'm looking at the other.
There's only one of them, right?
Yeah, 17.
Yeah, we got 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. All the other numbers occur. Oh, actually, there's 2 15s. But that's not the mode because we have 3 17s. So our answer for this one, I can't write with a laser pointer. There we go, is 17. So we're going to, now remember, don't circle the one that has a number 17, but the 17 feet, that's going to be a T. All right, I'm going to go ahead and throw these in here real quick. 9 is V. 24 is T, and 17 is E. So that's what we got
that's
so
what
far.
mode is. Okay.
Okay. Now, how do we find the range?
Okay. I know this. Oh yeah. The lowest range is 13, and the highest range is 18.
Good. Okay, so we take the biggest minus the smallest, and what does that give us?
Oh, I'm gonna get that calculator out.
There's the biggest, there's the smallest. Yeah, always make sure you get it right.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, 5.
5. Yep. So the range of canoe length is 5 feet. That means they're all within 5 feet of each other. All right. Okay. So we circle this one. That's going to be an H. So we go down to 13 and we put an H. Okay. Make sure, a lot of students make this mistake. Make sure you're not putting an H in for 5. 5 is
Okay.
not the box. 5 is the answer. So
All right.
sometimes students will do the entire worksheet, the math right, and then they'll get the instructions wrong. So it's
Yeah, I think that's
meant to be a little tricky. They're meant to make you think a little bit. So
yeah, that's what I struggle with too. So
okay, so let's do section 4. We'll just do all these together because they are kind of tricky, and I know anybody else in your class who's going to be watching this video is going to be really helpful to them. So we'll just do them all together, okay?
okay.
All right, so number 4 says Jill had a mean score of 80 on the first 3 math tests and a mean score of 90 on the last 2 tests. What is the mean of all 5 scores? So basically, to find the mean, what do we do? Natalie, you tell me. What do we do to find a mean?
Okay. Hold on. Look at my notes. You divide by some number, 80 and 90.
Okay, you're close. We gotta, right, to find the mean, we add up all of the test scores and then we divide by how many tests there are, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if she got a mean score of 80 on the first 3 math tests, that means we can just assume that the first 3 tests were all a score of 80. Because even if they weren't, it doesn't really matter what the actual score was. We know that the average score on the first 3 tests was 80. So what we're going to do is we're going to take those first 3 tests. We're going to just say that all 3 first test scores were 80.
80.
All right, so we're going to add those together.
80. Okay.
And then what about the last 2 tests? Since they had an average of 90, what could we just say that So what would the last 2 tests?
90.
Right. 90 and 90.
Yeah.
Okay. And so to find the mean, we're going to add all of these test scores up. So we're basically assuming that Jill got 80, 80, 80 on the first 3 tests and then 90, 90 on the second 2 tests. Because that's those scores would give us the averages that we're looking for. Okay. So now we add them all up.
Okay.
Okay. So do that on your calculator.
I can't see this light.
Well, then turn a light on. There you go.
Yeah.
Wow, what a great idea.
1, 2, 3.
Yep, so add 3 80s together and then 2 90s.
Got it.
Okay, what'd you get?
Wait, no, I didn't get the problem yet.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. Oh, cool.
Okay.
Mackenzie's joining us.
All right, and I got 412. 420.
420 is correct. Hi, Mackenzie.
Hi.
We're just going over number 4 on the application. So
Okay.
is that what you need help with, or is it something else?
Yeah.
Good.
No, yeah, I needed help with number 4. I wasn't really sure how that worked.
Yeah, this is it's tricky. So you came just in time, and if you missed anything you missed, it's going to be on the video, and I'm going to post it right after this, so you can watch that too.
Okay.
Okay, so this is how we're handling number 4. Since Jill got an average or a mean score of 80 on the first 3 tests, then we just assume that she got 80s on all of those tests. Because if we add up 80, 80, 80 and divide by 3, we would get an average of 80. So we might as well just call those tests all that she got an 80 on all of them. So that's where this came from. And then on the last 2 tests, she got a mean score of 90. So the last 2 tests, we'll just assume those both were 90s. And so to find the mean of all 5 scores, we take the sum of those 5 tests and we divide them by how many there are.
50? Oh.
We got to divide them by 5 because there's 5 test scores altogether, right? So, all right, so try that out on your calculator. Tell me what you get, and that'll be the mean. That'll be the mean of all 5 of her test scores.
Probably how to type that in. We divide by 5. 84.
Very good. All right, so that means that this is the answer to exercise D. So we're going to put a D in box number 21. All right. Okay, so the next one is very similar. So we'll see if you guys can figure out how to do this one. For his first 4 bowling games, Abercrombie had a mean score of 100. Then on game 5, he scored 120. What is his new average? So in other words, what's the average for all 5 games? All right, so how would we handle this?
Hold on. The average would be crap. 76 and 77.
No, you're looking at the wrong problem.
Oh.
We're on A here. Okay, so for the first 4 bowling games, Abercrombie had a mean score of 100. All right, so what could we say that he got on all 4 of his first games?
So he got 400s.
Right, he got 400s basically.
400.
It may have been like maybe he got a 105 and a 95 and a 105 and a 95, but they averaged to 100. So we might as well call them all 100s. All right, so we're going to add up 400s together. Those are his first 4 games.
Right.
And then what was his 5th game?
His 5th game was 120.
120, exactly. All right, so just like before, there's 5 games total, so we add all 5 games up and we divide by 5. So that's going to give me, what, 520 divided by 5. All right, so got my trusty calculator here.
104.
Exactly, you beat me to it. All right, so, and that makes, and you always want to think, does my answer make sense? If he gets 4 100s and then a 120, do we expect his average to be about 104? Yeah, that 120 is going to bring it up above 100, but not very much because it's only 1 game compared to 4. So, yeah, so that's exactly what we expect it to be. So we're going to circle that one, put an A here, and then put an A there. And remember, the reason why I put the letters over here, it's always a good idea. That way, if like your message makes perfect sense except one letter is out of place, then you can go back and look and see which problem you got wrong a lot easier. So just a little life hack with these, oops. So I'm going to copy this one and we'll just bring it down here because we're going to need a little room to work on this one. Okay, now it gets a little bit more complicated. Oshkosh, these names are crazy, by the way. Abercrombie and Oshkosh. Oh, well. Oshkosh had scores of 76 and 77 on his first 2 math tests. What score does he need on test number 3 to pull his mean score up to an 80? Okay, so this is the classic student problem. Every student wants to know this. Like, say your parents say, all right, if you get your grade above 80, then you get more allowance or you get to use a car, whatever it is. So it's always nice to know how to do this. So basically what they're saying is Oshkosh has taken 3 tests. All right, so to find the mean of 3 tests, what we do is we take the scores of the 3 tests. Okay, I'm going to leave a blank here for now. We would add them up and we divide by how many there are, and that would equal the mean that we want to find. However, this time our unknown is not the mean. We actually know what that mean is going to be. So what do you think we should put in place of this dash right here to figure out what test number 3 needs to be? Like, what can we put here? Can we put a number there? Do we know what he got on test number 3? What do you think? Remember, to figure out what you're trying to do, always read the question. What score does he need on test number 3? So did he take that test yet?
No.
No. So we don't know what it is. And what do we always put in for a value that we don't know?
A variable.
Boom. All right. So let's erase that blank. We're going to put a variable in here. And then we're going to define what it means because this is always really important. X equals test number 3 score. And that's what the problem's trying to find or telling us to find. That's what we're trying to find. So that's what we need to do. Okay. Now you can see what we've got here. This side, this is adding up all three test scores and dividing by 3, and this gives us our mean, the mean that Oshkosh is looking for. So we got to solve this equation. So it's kind of a complicated equation too. So remember, what the first thing we need to do is we need to get rid of that division. If everything's being divided by 3, then we do the opposite, and we're going to multiply by 3 on both sides. So that'll take out the division by 3. We get 76 plus 77 plus x equals 80 times 3, which we punch out on the calculator real quick. We get 240. Okay, so how do we go about solving this equation from here? Think back a couple units ago.
You have to get rid of the x.
Well, we don't want to get rid of x. We want to
No.
get rid of everything else. We want to get x by itself.
Yeah.
So what do you think we should do? Can we simplify this?
Mm-hmm.
We can, right? We can combine like terms. So we got a 76 and a 77. So we add those together. That should be 153 plus x equals 240. Okay, now what? How do we get that x by itself?
We have to get rid of the 153.
Exactly. Okay, so what's the opposite of adding 153?
Subtracting.
Boom. And remember to do it to both sides. So,
So 0.
right, this is a 0. You always show it like that. That's a good way to show it. All right, bring down the x. Bring down your equal sign. And what's that going to be?
X equals x. Oh,
Yep, use your calculator just to make sure you get it right.
let's see. Let's see.
What'd you say?
I just said I can't see.
Oh,
Okay. 87. Nathan, go.
okay.
I'm sorry.
Now, that's all right. You're fine.
My twin
So
brother's
ask yourself,
better.
does this answer make sense? Does an 87 sound like something he could get on a test that would bring his score up to an 80?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable, right? And if you really think about it, okay, so this number is 4 below 80. So this is minus 4. This number is 3 below 80. And then this number, 87, is 7 above 80. So if you add those together, you get a negative 7 and a positive 7. They average out. They even each other out. So that's one kind of way to do a quick check and make sure you're doing it right. All right, so anyway, our answer is 87. We're going to circle it. It's always a good sign when you find the answer that you came up with on the answer sheet. That's why I like worksheets so much, is because you can make sure that you got it right. If your answer doesn't match anything that's there, then you know you messed up somewhere and you can go back and find your mistake.
So like, are all the answers for all these answers are like each and every one of them like on one of these questions? That makes sense.
Not all of them. Not all of them are used because look, there's only 4 questions, but there's 8 possible answers. So they throw some wrong answers in there to fool you a little bit. So it's not too easy to figure out, basically. Okay, so let's do this last one, and then we'll be done. And hopefully you can get the rest of it on your own. But if not, you know how to find me, get a hold of me. All right, so let's copy that. We'll bring it down here. Okay. So basically, the Flicks Theater sold a mean of 472 tickets per day last week. All right, so that's their average for a whole week. How many tickets did the theater sell altogether last week? All right, so there's one important piece of information we need here. They want the total number of tickets. How many tickets did the theater sell altogether? So we know that the variable is going to be total tickets. Okay, and what do you do with the total or the sum? What do you do with the sum to find the mean? Like once we've
Yeah.
added everything together, like we did up here in the first one, once you add everything together, what do you divide by?
The total.
No, you don't divide by the total. You take the total and you divide it by what?
By the numbers by the number of tickets they sold.
By the number of by the number of data values that there are. Okay, so this is a really important part of the story problem. How many days are in a week?
7.
7. So this means basically they sold 472 tickets every day for 7 days. So how do we find the total number of tickets?
Times 472 times 7.
Very good. Okay, in other words, we would take the sum, right? We always take the sum, divide it by how many there are, and that gives us the mean. The mean is 472. So if we solve this equation for x by multiplying both sides by 7, that's exactly what Mackenzie said to do. So if we multiply by 7, okay, we go to our calculator, 472 times 7 gives me 3304. All right, we did expect it to be a very large number. We expect it to be larger than 472. So check our answers and see if 3304 is on there. It is. So that gives us a good indication that we did it right. There's an N in number 23. Oops, that's not a very good N. Okay. And see now our message is starting to become clear. You might even be able to figure out what's happening here. So if you do 2 and 3, that'll help you fill it in and you'll be done. Just make sure you complete the worksheet and answer the question. Okay, if the answer at the bottom's not right, you're going to lose a point. So,
Okay.
all right.
Mhm.
All right. Anything else?
How do you find the best measure?
Okay, so I kind of talked about that in the second page of the notes here. But that's a great question. So basically, it's really simple.
My cabin.
Method. Now, if you have a data set that's got like this doesn't happen very often, but in number 4, you got a data set where numbers are repeating themselves a lot. Like there's, when you rate a teacher on evals, there's only a couple options. You can rate them from 1 to 5. So sometimes mode is the best when that's the case, but most of the time you're looking for outliers. Like in number 2, the median is the better value to use to measure the center of the data because we have an outlier here. Okay, so this is my data from last year, but last year I had 5 classes and I had 1 study hall. So in the study hall there were 45 students, and that's obviously not a normal class, right? That's like totally different. And so that large number there is throwing off the mean. It's called skewing the mean. Because in all my other 5 classes, the numbers are between 11 and 15. So they're really tightly packed. And then you got this 45 out here. So when we add that huge number into the sum and then we find the average, the mean is 18.2, but that's a terrible measure of where the center of my data is because I don't have any classes that have 18 students in it. They're all less. So do you see how like outliers can affect the mean like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But the median stays true when there's outliers because like you're just looking at the middle numbers. It doesn't matter what the numbers out on the edges are. Like this could be a 400 and the mean or the median wouldn't change because the median does not take into account any of the numbers out here on the outside. All right. So like for example, in number 5, the median, so we look at all the numbers, 28, 24, 27, 24, 40, 23, 20, 22, 25, 21. All of the values except this 40 are between 20 and 28. So you have 9 numbers that are packed really close together, and then you got this 40. So the 40s, it's not a huge outlier, but it is an outlier, and that would probably make the median the best measure of the sum. Okay, so if you have outliers, the median is better. If you don't have any outliers, then the mean is usually what you go with. Does that help?
Mm-hmm.
Did I confuse
So do you
you
like just?
more?
Sorry.
That's okay.
So do you just like round it to like the to like a number or
Yeah, you can round to the nearest tenth. I think most of these values you don't need to round, but yes, you don't have to write out the whole number. Just round it off. I'm not going to take off points for rounding. I really don't care how you round it. I want you to just make sure you're finding the right numbers.
okay.
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 All right. So that's. I think that's about it. I think you should be able to handle the rest on your own. And if not, like I said, you know how to find me. Email me, send me a screenshot of your work, and I'll try and figure out what's going wrong.
Right. We just go over like just one problem with number 3. It was kind of just confusing a little bit.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
sorry.
So no, that's okay, because this is a little tricky, because you have to be able to read a bar graph to understand how many turkeys you have here. So basically what the bar graph means is the graph shows the weights of turkeys sold by Acme Market in the last week. So basically this is saying that they sold 4 11-pound turkeys and then 9 12-pound turkeys. Okay, so if we were to write all these numbers out, okay, so this would be like, so we have 4 11s, 4 11s, 9 12-pound turkeys, 7 13-pound turkeys, 4 14-pound turkeys, 1 15-pound turkey, and 2 16-pound turkeys. All right, do you see where I'm getting those numbers from?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically how many turkeys did they sell in total? So to figure that out, we'd want to add all these up, right? They're just asking for the sum in number 1, the total number of turkeys sold.
Yeah.
So what's that going to be?
Oh my god. $27.
27, very good. All right, so here's our answer. It's always a good idea to write it next to it here. And then we're going to put an I in box number 5. Okay. Now, the total weight of all the turkeys sold. So now we take it up a notch. I'm going to erase what I had here, because now we're going to do the second part. The total weight of all turkeys sold. Well, to figure that out, like in this first bar, get my laser pointer out. All right, in this first bar, there are 4 turkeys. They each weigh 11 pounds. So how do we find the total number of pounds in these turkeys? What do you think? 4 turkeys, they all weigh 11 pounds.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we add them.
We could do 11 plus 11 plus 11 plus 11, but what's the short way of doing that?
Multiply.
Right, 4 times 11. So we're going to take 4 times 11, and then so that's the total weight for all the 11-pound turkeys. And then we're going to do the same thing for all the other weights. So we're going to take 9 times 12, and then we're going to add 7 13-pound turkeys. We're going to add 4 14-pound turkeys. Plus 15 plus 2 times 16. All right, you can multiply 15 times 1 if you want, but it's not going to change anything. So basically, this is going to be the total weight of all the turkeys. And if you type it in exactly like that on your calculator, it should do it. It should do it right for you. All right, so I'll give you a second to do that. Maybe pause the video.
Yes.
What'd you get?
Oh wait, are we supposed to like add them all together?
Yeah, you got to add them all. So if you multiplied them all, then now you got to add them up, because that's, remember, we're finding the weight of all the 11-pound turkeys, the weight of all the 12-pound turkeys. So if we want to find the total weight of all of them, we got to add all those.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I have the total of 346.
You are correct. All right. So, and we can see that answer on our answer sheet. So we're going to put a T in box 12. Okay, and this is 346. Okay, so now
Oh my god.
what?
Sorry, just my cats are getting in my drawers.
Okay, so now
Sorry.
we have this information. Now we can find the mean weight of the turkeys by dividing by how many turkeys there are. So if we take the total weight and divide it by how many turkeys there are, we just have to do 346 divided by 27. That should give us the average weight of all the turkeys. So try that. 346 divided by how many there are.
3, 4, 6. Okay. Oh. I got a decimal.
Yes, you should get a decimal.
Okay.
What'd you get?
So it's 36 over 27.
Well, just give me the decimal. 346 over
I
27.
don't know if I can say this number.
All right, let's read it then.
Oh.
Turn it toward the camera.
Okay, I'm gonna try to. Oh my god. Oh, why are my cats in my room?
I can't see it.
Oh, sorry.
Isn't it just 12.8?
Yeah, 12.8.
Yeah.
You see that, Natalie? You just round it off, and then our answer is right here.
I'm sorry. I'm getting distracted.
That's all right. I'm gonna turn you loose here, and you can try the rest on your own. Okay, but I will give you a little hint here.
Oh
This
no.
is gonna take you a little bit of time, but to find the median, you're gonna want to write out every
my
single
God.
turkey, all 27 of them, in order, and then find the middle value.
Oh my god. Why? Why is this happening? Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so for number 3, M,
Nope.
so you're just doing basically what you did for number 5, A and B.
Yes. Now that you know what all the numbers are, remember, you're not just going to write out 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 one time each and then find the median of those. You got to write out 4 11s and then 9 12s and then 7 13s, et cetera, et cetera. So you're going to write out all 27 weights in order and then find the middle number to be the median. And then the mode is super easy. Like what number appears the most in this chart? What weight of turkey appears the most? What is the most common?
12.
Yeah. So exercise M is super easy. It's just whatever number appears the most. So 12 is the answer for M. So I guess we can knock that out. 12 pounds right here. So that's going to be M. But yeah, for E, to find the median, you always have to list them out in order and then find the number that's in the middle. And then the range is just the largest weight minus the smallest weight. So that's an easy one to do too.
Okay.
So we're going to put it on. All right, so I did about half of them with you, and you're on the hook for the other half. All right?
All right.
Okay. Well, I appreciate y'all coming today, and I'm sure like I said, your classmates are really going to appreciate this video too, because it'll get them. So they should be texting you and thanking you for coming to these Zoom sessions. If it weren't for you two, then
There's
we
a
would
lot
have this
going
resource.
on.
So
There's a lot going on right now.
all right, well, thanks girls for coming. Have a great week, and like I said, you got 3 more days, so get it done early and ask questions if you get stuck.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
No problem. See you later.
Bye.
See you.
Have a good day.